Oh, hey everybody. Time for the children's sermon. We're reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible. We've almost done every story in here. Pretty exciting. Today we're going to read Filled Full. This is about the time that Jesus fed thousands and thousands of people with just a little bit of bread and a couple of fish. And the reason we're reading this one today is that during the family Bible adventure that I know many of you have been participating in, the feeding of the 5,000 is going to be our story this Sunday as well. So you'll probably get to see this maybe at some point over the weekend, and it'll just reinforce the story that we're going to tell together on the Zoom call for Family Bible Adventures. So that's enough about this for now. Let's get right in and hear this great story, and I love the way this Bible talks about it. Go ahead, here it is, the story.
Filled full. There were once 5,000 tired and hungry and probably very grumpy people sitting on a hillside wanting their dinner. They'd come to hear Jesus that day. They came before breakfast, stayed all morning, all afternoon, and way past dinner. No one had meant to be out there that long, but that's how it was, listening to Jesus, as if time didn't exist. People could listen to Jesus for hours, and on this particular day, that's just what they did. But they hadn't brought enough food, and they couldn't just go and buy themselves a burger and fries to go because, of course, they were in the middle of nowhere with no shops or restaurants. Besides, that kind of food wasn't invented yet. What would they do? Jesus' friends had an idea. Let's send everyone home for dinner. They don't need to go, Jesus said. You can give them something to eat. Did Jesus want them to travel all the way to town and buy food for everyone? Jesus' friends panicked. But we don't have enough money. What food do you have? Jesus asked. Go and see. Now there was a little boy in the crowd. He had brought a lunch that his mother had made for him that morning. He looked at his 5 loaves and 2 fish. It wasn't much, not nearly enough for 5,000, but it was all he had. I have some, he said. Jesus' friends laughed when they saw his little lunch. That's not nearly enough, they said. But they were wrong. Jesus knew it didn't matter how much the little boy had. God would make it enough, more than enough. Jesus said, bring me what you have. And so the little boy gave Jesus his lunch. Jesus winked at the little boy and whispered in his ear, watch. How in the world will Jesus feed everyone with just that? Jesus' friends said, because they thought it was impossible. But Jesus knew the one who made all the fish in the oceans. And Jesus knew the one who, in the very beginning, had made everything out of nothing at all. How hard would something like this be for someone like that? Jesus took the little boy's lunch, looked up to heaven, and thanked his Father. Then Jesus gave the little lunch back to his friends. As Jesus' friends started to hand out the food, do you know what? It was the strangest thing. No matter how much they broke off, there was always more, and more, and more, enough for 5,000. Everyone ate as much as they wanted, second helpings, third helpings, even fourths, until they were full. And still, there were leftovers. Well, Jesus did many miracles like this, things people thought couldn't happen, that weren't natural, but it was the most natural thing in all the world. It's what God had been doing from the beginning, of course, taking the nothing and making it everything, taking the emptiness and filling it up, taking the darkness and making it light.
All right, hey everybody, I have a card trick for you here today. I've spent so much time trying to film this and never getting the cards in the right place, so that's what my tape is for, so I know exactly where I'm supposed to put these cards. All right, this one's all about the Joker today, and it's the Joker and 8 other cards. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are our 8 cards, and again, we want to be following the Joker around. We're going to hide him just for a second in there. But I was thinking about this card trick because it has some miraculous multiplication. Not even really multiplication, but
all of a sudden the numbers change and there's more cards there than you were expecting to find. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. But I was thinking about Jesus and how Jesus took 2 fish and some loaves of bread and fed 5,000 people. That's amazing. That's crazy. That's a miracle. And I'm not going to be doing anywhere near that amount of multiplication here today. And this is certainly not a miracle. It's just a little trick. And I'm also not Jesus. But I just thought this was a fun way for us to think about it, right? Imagine if you were there when Jesus took that bread and those fish and all of a sudden somehow multiplied it to feed all of those people. It would be so much more amazing than the trick you're about to see. So here we go. Here's the trick. We've got 1 card here. And remember, I said you wanted to follow the joker. So there's a 2nd card, and then a 3rd, and then a 4th. So we take 4 cards, we put them down there, and then we take 4 more cards, and we put them there. Now you might be thinking, oh, Nate, you're tricky. I know something happened. Like, okay, so let's count the cards. First, let's count the pack where the joker is. So we go over here, and we got to make sure. Are there 4 cards here? We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 4 cards there. Now, are there 4 cards over here? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Interesting. So we've got 4 cards over here and 4 cards over here. But now I'm going to take the joker out of this pile and put it into that pile. Did you see that? Oh, it really happened. See, because look. Now, all of a sudden, we've got only 1, 2, 3 cards in that pile. And if we take this pile and just go smack, there's the joker. And you'll notice somehow there were 5 cards over there. There you go. There's my magic trick. All right, now let's head back to talk about the story.
All right, here's what I love about the feeding of the 5,000 is that there's so many ways to think about it. Did Jesus miraculously make that bread and that fish just go on forever until everyone was full? That's one way, and certainly we know that Jesus performed a ton of miracles just like that. But here's what I wonder about. I wonder if the real miracle that was happening that day was the miracle of sharing and generosity, right? Because it was just one little boy who said, hey, I have some fish, I have some bread, I can share it. And Jesus took that and multiplied it for thousands. And I wonder if what happened that day is if Jesus changed people's hearts. As they saw that little boy share his food, did they then think, you know what? I can share a little bit of my food too. Maybe that's part of how so many were fed, is that because of that boy sharing and because of who Jesus is and how much he loves everyone, maybe that's how everyone was fed. It just goes to show us that the action of one little boy, when one little boy decided to share and give to Jesus, that changed everything. And it's the same with you. When you do just a little bit of sharing in the name of Jesus, something incredible can happen. So that's your homework for this week, right? We got to put our faith into practice. I want you to just share. Find some way to share your toys with your brother or your sister. Find some ways to share some nice words with your mom or your dad. Find a way to share what God has given you. Because when we share, when we give away what God has given to us, amazing, dare I say, miraculous things can happen. All right, that's the children's sermon for this week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. We'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.